Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Have you ever wondered how a single assassination in Sarajevo could plunge an entire continent into the deadliest war the world had ever seen? It seems almost unbelievable, right? Well, the truth is, the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand was just the spark that lit a powder keg. A powder keg that had been carefully and secretly constructed for decades through a complex web of hidden treaties and alliances. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the secret agreements that made World War I almost inevitable. Let's rewind to the late 19th century. Europe was a chessboard of rising powers, each vying for dominance, colonies, and resources. To protect their interests, nations began forging alliances. But many of these weren't public knowledge. They were secret handshakes, whispered promises that tied countries together in a domino chain of military obligations. The first major piece of this puzzle was the dual alliance of 1879 between Germany and Austria-Hungary. This was a defensive pact. If Russia attacked one, the other was sworn to help. This was Germany's Chancellor, Otto von Bismarck's way of isolating France and preventing a two-front war. But things got more complicated. In 1882, Italy joined, forming the Triple Alliance. The secret clause here was that if France attacked Germany, Italy would have to jump in. So now, three major powers were locked together. But France wasn't sitting still. Feeling isolated and threatened by a powerful Germany, they looked for a partner. Who did they find? Russia. In 1894, they signed the Franco-Russian alliance. This was Germany's worst nightmare come true. The agreement stipulated that if any member of the Triple Alliance mobilized their army, both France and Russia would immediately mobilize theirs. Suddenly, Germany was staring down the barrel of that dreaded two-front war. A war in the west against France, and a war in the east against Russia. Now, where does Britain fit into all of this? For a long time, Britain practiced what was called splendid isolation, preferring to stay out of continental squabbles. But Germany's aggressive naval buildup started to make them nervous. So, Britain began to make its own friends. In 1904, they signed the Entente Cordiale with France. This wasn't a formal military alliance, but it was a friendly understanding that settled colonial disputes and signaled a major shift in European politics. 3 years later, in 1907, Britain and Russia signed a similar agreement, the Anglo-Russian Convention. Together, these three agreements formed the Triple Entente: France, Russia, and Great Britain. Now, the two opposing blocs were set. On one side, the Triple Alliance of Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy. On the other, the Triple Entente. Europe was a tangled mess of commitments. The problem with these secret pacts was that no one knew for sure who was obligated to do what. Diplomats were often guessing at the full extent of their rivals' commitments, which led to miscalculations and paranoia. So, when the crisis hit in the summer of 1914, this system kicked into gear. Austria-Hungary, backed by Germany's blank check of support, declared war on Serbia. Russia, seeing itself as the protector of the Slavic peoples, began to mobilize its massive army to defend Serbia. Germany, seeing Russia mobilize, enacted its Schlieffen Plan, which required a rapid invasion of France through neutral Belgium. This, in turn, triggered Britain's 1839 treaty to defend Belgian neutrality, forcing them into the war. In a matter of weeks, a regional conflict had spiraled into a world war, dragging millions into the trenches, all because of a series of secret promises made years before. These alliances, designed to create security, ended up creating the very catastrophe they were meant to prevent. They turned a spark into an inferno. It's a powerful lesson from history about the dangers of secret diplomacy and how easily alliances can become chains. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you found this dive into the secret history of WWI interesting, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Let me know in the comments what other historical topics you'd like to see covered. See you next time.